Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening. Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. All right, got it. Yulia? Oh no. All right, I can do that. What? Are you... You're serious, aren't you? I doubt Domitius will let me talk to him, but I'll make sure he passes on the message. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Fear is proof of a degenerate, all right?
Hello there, friend. Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
Certainly. Very well. Another time.
Greetings and salutations.
Lucretia, no time to explain. I'm supposed to give you the Sylphium resin for Yulia.
What? Quick, give it here. I'm just going to help her swallow this. I think she's going to be all right. Galerius, you're amazing. How did you know?
I was just doing what the new lady told me.
I don't understand. How did you? Never mind. Thank you so much for acting as quickly as you did. Another moment more and we would have lost her.
Can't stay. Places to be. Salve, Rufius. I hear your rheumatism has you so riled up you've been harassing Virgil.
What? My condition is none of his business. Treatment.
There's no need for that. I just wanted to give you this willow bark to help you treat it.
Thank.
Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. Was there something you wanted? Our priestess, Equitia, once told me it's the god's way of creating a city without sin. But if that's the case, then whichever god is responsible for it didn't think it through. I mean, all it really does is make bad people better at hiding their sins, and good people too frightened to stand up for themselves. I've seen Malleolus, Claudia, and Domitius make grown men cry. Romans. They don't cry easily. They've never physically hurt anyone. But the point is, they don't have to. They've got people running scared because everyone knows Malleolus is the favorite to win today's election. I doubt it. I mean, the election is today, and you've only just arrived. I just don't think there's enough time for you to do anything. I suppose we will. All right. Goodbye.
Sure. What do you want to know? Do you really want to know? Glad. That's a shame.
Whatever's in that great temple up there... Hello there. Malleolus. I mean...
Certainly. Very well. Another time.
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a buck?
On your best behavior, I trust?
Priestess, Malleolus has decided to withdraw from the election.
Oh, well, that's surprising. But thank you for telling me. I'll let everyone know.
Here is proof of a degenerate mind.
Shalom, friend. Galerius. He saved my life. I have a feeling he can do a lot more if given the chance. All right, friend. Thanks for the chat.
All right. See. Just as say that he gives, and now we share it.
All weapons are to be tossed into the chasm. Magistrate's orders.
Whatever. Just remember.
That's quite an impressive. A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over. It must be completed. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Galerius, the challenger. Why do you ask? As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk, but I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason. As you wish. Certainly. See you again soon, I hope.
Name's Rufius. Galerius. Fine. See you around.
Greetings and salutations. Galerius. But of course, I hope that...
Ah, a new face. Salve. I hear we have you to thank for... Galerius, definitely. All right. Nice to talk to you.
Oh, shiny.
Sentius, I suppose. Stability is always good for business. Yeah? And what's he gonna do for me? He's nothing. Certainly, for a few thousand denarii. Pleasure doing business. Can I help you with anything else? Very well. Another time.
Ave again. Did you find what you need? It must be completed by... It'll be... Why do you ask? As I said... Well, I wouldn't describe impatient... Yeah, very well. Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Time to go to the theater.
Do you like... like... Yeah. Bye-bye.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helva. Marcus Malleolus Gurges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Galerius.
Virgil.
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helva.
What?
It has been decided. Magistrate Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted. Now that you've put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
It's almost as if you're trying to extend my lifespan. It's almost as if you're trying...
Fortune smiles on you today.
Signora.
Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out of here?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
I will. I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello? I'm Dooley. Magistrate Galerius said I should thank the newcomer. Are you the newcomer? Oh, sorry. I don't remember things so good. But thank you. You're a big helper. I was locked up, but they let me out again. I'm so happy. You can have my shiny plaque if you want, and maybe you can help me find my treasure. My friend Hannibal used to look after me, and he said he always would. But then he died. But before that, he told me if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious. He gave me a key to the cisterns and told me to keep it safe. He said there's something very precious way up high. Please help me find it. Please. I had to keep it a secret until I found someone I could... Oh, thank you. Here's the key. I hope you find it. In the cisterns. Oh, maybe it is treasure. I can see it for myself. It's so pretty. And it's just lying out here. Maybe nobody wants it anymore. Maybe no one will mind if I just take it.
Don't you dare.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
No! I don't want to go to Tartarus. No! I don't want to go to Tartarus.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh, sounds serious. Yulia! Poor Virgil. Alright, let me see. What? Are you... You're serious, aren't you? I doubt Domitius will let me talk to him, but I'll make sure he passes on the message. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not? Hey! You're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you? Good.
You. Who are... We... What? No. I hate you.
I hope you're taking care of yourself. Salve, welcome to life under the god. That, if you're not well, we've all... I still don't have any... Ah.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Cimmerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You're unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly. But there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will. My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific. What do you wish to know? It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by you mortals, not one I gave myself. Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful, just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all that, there are rules even I must obey. My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your kind. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords: desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow, while an acquired taste can be addictive. This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names: Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpina to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal. Your gaze lingers too long. That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutubal to the Sumerians, Kirti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions. No. Long ago I swore to Proserpina that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. As you wish. It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists because of a wager I made long ago. That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Proserpina saw raw potential in you, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law, and you called us gods. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion, and soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough, and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world. But my Proserpina could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Proserpina's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. But he refused. I did everything I could to persuade him, but he would not relent. He would rigidly uphold his... Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you, without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all this time, still waiting. There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names. Our leader, Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, and of course, my beloved. As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable. I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined, of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, after another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive, and then the Romans, and they all did the same thing. They built upon the underworlds of their predecessors, renamed their gods, and ensured their foundations were forgotten. To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, across all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's Obol. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing which. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock, and Proserpina's along with it. It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely. And he told stories of this place as if describing memories of a dream. His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic of Gilgamesh. Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate and labyrinthine. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning. And in a series of a warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, they each told embellished tales of this place, how to And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place. Of course. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yet. That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerians finished now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife, a prestigious position of power and influence in a new world. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at the banquet wearing eye-catching dresses and painted faces, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets, and rings. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman, she prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her own hands. While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion. She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat, where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those who... But that was not enough for the entire city, so I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all to make... And to this day, each of them, and all who came after, line the halls of this city, inanimate but conscious, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, as silent golden sentinels. When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. A consolation prize of... The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to no attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations. The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your... It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with it. Yet none of the peoples who express this rule. Enough. You clearly know nothing. I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask? Then what an odd question. Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me an example? I have seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything. Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Now tell me, What other sins do you believe I have overlooked? The merchant. How is that inconsistent with the rule I've outlined? I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway. Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation. Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man. Supposing you're right, and my law's been broken, and I Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? Abduction? You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter in the cistern, I take it. He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to punish her. Supposing you're right, and my laws... Now tell me, what other... Ah, the tavern keeper, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule? I disagree. Having watched that tavern keeper, that is precisely what she would expect from others. She would view it as a game, one she intends to win. Applying this rule always requires speculation. Not if... Now tell me. You speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent? And he would never have signed a contract pledging his labor for 30 years. All he did was enforce the terms of a contract. Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority. This is interesting. I'm curious. I see. And how long might it take such a person to repay? I fail to see how your system of loans is significantly different to a debt bondsman signing over his labor for 30 years. Supposing you're right, and my law's been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Now tell me, what others... Do you honestly think you could do better? I should strike you down for that. Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning? I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as and when you disobey, and you all... And so you ask if I am the one destroying your lives. And I say, no, you destroy yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it. Very well. That is merely the name your people... I'm able to commune. If... Then what? I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes. If she... Then what an... Do you plan to speak in sweeping Do you honestly think? Then you are a fool. But what now? Did you have any other questions before your reckoning? Do you plan to speak in sweeping Ah, the tavern. Then your desire to be right outweighs your desire to survive. You will make a fine statue. Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with that primitive weapon? How dare you threaten her? This ends now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
And here, allow me, no gull to this, but the one, and I've been, and what is, but they will, fur. That is me. I've all, no, this should be a Greek, a Roman, even, it is, yet. We both know that is not true. Do you plan to speak in sweet? Abduction. He did better than... Now... Very well. Good. Then now it is time for your reckoning. Only, it seems, something is wrong. It has long been within my power to see into the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. But when I peer into you, I see only a blank slate, as if you did not exist until you appeared in this city. How is this possible? Charon, where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here?
You would have us believe that my servant merely forgot bringing you. That sounds Carol. Does this mortal speak the truth?
Perhaps. The waters of the River Lane are known to have that effect.
I will take you at your word. But as long as your past remains shrouded in mystery, it seems I must put your reckoning on hold. But answer this. Why have you come here? What is it you seek? Your hubris is amusing, so I will allow you to make your case. But I warn you, if you anger me or waste my time with lies or wrong-headed arguments, you face death here. So, tell me, why should I put an end to the so-called Golden Rule? That is a very serious accusation, mortal. What sin have I committed? What evidence do you have to support it? I am well aware of the story told by the Greeks and Romans of my so-called abduction. It is entirely unfair. My love was dying, and I intervened the only way I could to save her life. What would you have done? It was an act of rebellion against the others. She knew I would have to act to save her, and I did. Accordingly, I reject your argument. These people were all dead when my servant found them. I gave them a second chance. Then you still have the option to end your life should you wish, and you are no worse off than if I had not intervened. Accordingly, I reject your argument. Every one of those people was guilty of failing to ensure their peers. They failed collectively, and so they were punished collectively. I am a god, and you are a mortal. Why would you expect me to treat you as I treat my own kind? Let me ask you this. Do you treat insects as you wish to be treated? Do you ensure they have food and shelter and protection from... Of course not, because that would be absurd, just as it would be absurd. My love for her does not mean I am not superior, now that she is mortal. Bah! For a moment I thought you might have been building to a point, but I see now you are just a hubristic little creature. That is a very serious... How unfortunate that we are not where you are from. But let me ask you this. Do you ensure... I warned you will make a fine statue. Do you really think you can wound... How dare you threaten her? This ends now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Salva... What? That's a big ask. But something tells me you're not kidding. But I doubt I'll be able...
Ixion turns.
Salve.
That's quite an impressive bow you have there. You did? I'm impressed. Wait, what? Sumerian? As in east of the Euphrates, where Babylon is? Let me see if I understand you. Our ancestors built over the Greeks' temple, copied their religion, and changed their god's name from Hades to Pluto. But the Greeks had done much the same thing to the Egyptians. And the Egyptian, if that's true, then I've spent my whole life serving a goddess. It's no wonder I never felt like my prayers to Vesta were answered. All that time. Who was I? I see. That is a lot to take in. I think I would like to be alone now, if you don't mind.
We've all... all right, well...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh, no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing?
That...
What?
Why do you...
Please.
I'm sorry. You... Well, you don't under... If I back... No, I am out. Wherever you are. Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! I'll have... and I...
And here, Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, but the one, and I've been, and wanted that there will be third. That is, do you plan to, taking one, therefore, the blind. Then your design, you will make. Pathetic.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oh. You? Over? Alright, let me... What? Oh.
All weapons are to be tossed into the chasm. Magistrate's orders.
I'll take care of it. Just go and hide, but not in the empty shrine.
Wait, how did you know I was headed in there?
Ah, a visit. Well, I apologize. I assume you're asking me this as some kind of amusing hypothetical? Extraordinary. Then let me see if I can help you. I suppose first I'd want to gather information. I'd want to know about his reasons for imposing the Golden Rule. If I could expose some internal inconsistency in his reasoning, some But as a philosopher, the saddest truth I ever learned is that all but the most enlightened opponents are more easily... So the easiest path would be to find his emotional susceptibility and exploit it. If he was vain, I might try to flatter him. If he was merciful, I would try to evoke pity. As a last resort, I might figure out what he fears losing above all else, and, if I could, threaten to take it away. Though, of course, that could easily go awry. Now, go quickly while my words are still fresh in your memory. Good to... All right.
Just wonder how much more they swallow this. I think she's going to be alright. I don't understand.
Not a good time. Not a good time, friend.
Allow me, but the one and I and what did they first? That is. Do you plan to? Ah, I did. Applying this. Not if we're wise. Now tell me. Very well. Good. Then now it is time for your reckoning. Only, it is when I... Charon, where did you find this?
I do not remember ferrying you.
You? Charon. I will... But as long as you're... Why have you come here? If you anger so, that is a very serious. Every one of those people was guilty of failing to eat. They failed. How unfortunate. Ah, but let me ask you this. Do you Of course. Where to begin? Our lifespans exceed yours by thousands of years, in which time we accumulate vast wisdom and amass. Because that is the source of our power over you. You could say that. My kin have no superiors. I suppose there is a hierarchy among my kin, with Jupiter at the top. Make your point, mortal. Let me ponder that for a moment. If you are right, then it would follow that all this time I have been in the wrong. But no, the very thought of it grieves me. How can I accept your argument, when doing so would make me a tyrant and a monster? Your hubris grows tiresome. You will make a fine statue. How dare you threaten her? This ends.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
That is very well. Good. Only it is when Charon. You would have us. How did you come to be in this time, mortal?
He cannot know.
I do not know. My kin departed long ago, and Proserpine has slumbered for 3,000 years. Tread lightly, mortal. Enough of this. It seems I will need to put your reckoning on hold. And why have you... If you... So...
He cannot know.
I see what you are doing. You are trying to undermine the... You have no idea how close you just came to eternity. That is a... These people... Then you... According... It is... It... Accordingly... But let me ask, do you ensure that... Of course... In which... It would be most unwise to get ideas about attacking me. Because that is the source of our power. Mike. Make your point. Let me... If you... How can I accept your argument? You will make a fine statue. Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with that primitive weapon? How dare you threaten her?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Yulia. Poor... All right, I'll go.
Greetings and salutations.
Allow no, but the one and what that they will first. I would recognize that anywhere, and yet, my beloved, you vile, despicable creature, why would you do such a thing? And worse still, boast about it. You have put me in an impossible position. If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium humiliated and alone. Perhaps you are cleverer than you appear, mortal. I do not see that I have a choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing I have witnessed in 3,000 years. And now you have shown me your species' true colors. And I see that Persephone was a fool to have ever believed in you at all. This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this, if I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend. Very well. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest. Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready? You had best pray our paths never cross again, mortal.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time, learning about the history of this place, and it is extraordinary. I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city for about 2,000 years. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently, there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden Rule. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the 1,000 people who'd lived here before them. Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good harvest at the shrine of Proserpina, an oracle appeared and told him how to solve the ills of the city, like saving the life of a dying woman, foiling an assassination attempt, and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to her. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him and the other people who lived here? What happened to all the golden statues? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years? What? Oh, I see. For a moment there I thought you were serious. Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city. Follow me. gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody... You go on it.
You're back! Ah, why don't you tell me what you discovered? While we wait. Really? Sounds amazing. And did you... Oh, look! Here he comes. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city.
Sounds like quite a story. And I look forward to hearing all about it. But... you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read about your trial in the news. Congratulations on your acquittal. Still, I'm sorry you had to go through all that. Anyway, after everything you've been through, I thought you might appreciate some good news. So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius' tablet, and I found something strange. I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you, I just really wanted you to see this for yourself. Why don't you head on down there? I'll catch up with you at the other end.
You're finally here. Remember me? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Charon appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me, but I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second chance at life. Oh, I used Charon's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I know! I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged and living together. We're planning to get married next spring. If you're going to be around, we'd love to see you there. Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you, so you'd better keep moving. We'll speak again soon, my friend.
Oh, hello.
You're here. It's lovely to finally meet you. Galerius told me all about you. So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the last of the Roman gods. As I'm a priestess, you realize you've put me out of work. I'm just teasing. Actually, and it still feels a little sacrilegious to... Galerius and I are engaged and expecting. We've just bought a lovely villa in the countryside, with room for a large family, and Dooley too, of course. It feels like the world has just opened up for us. There's so much to learn, and so many more possibilities for our children than we ever imagined. We're just so thankful for what you did for us, for all of us. Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely. In fact, she's here. See you.
Hello, I'm Dooley. Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper. I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. They look after me now. Treasure? Oh, I forgot about that. I like my box now. Galerius got me a box that tells stories. It's my favourite thing. Bye-bye.
Hi there, I'm Horatius. I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life, and reuniting Scintilla with us as well. So, I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. I'm going to be an officer one day. The world's changed a lot, but some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tech? Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. The ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides. Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. I grieved for a time, but that's done. In the words of Epictetus, as those who remind yourself your precious one isn't one of your possessions, but something given for now, not forever. Thanks. Oh, and I don't know if you've heard, but a few of us... Great. He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. He had more trouble adapting than most. He got himself disqualified from the UFC, so he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament, like we had in Rome. Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch. But his luck finally ran out, and his life along with it. You know what they say. You're not wrong. See you at drink.
Hey. I take it you're the Oracle. Actually, I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time. But he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again. Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please. Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for me, because it's just awful out there. Barbarians everywhere. He's still there, all alone, the last golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell, slowly losing his mind until the end of time. Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me. Then I suppose he got his wish. You too. See you around.
You're... Oh, of course, sorry. And of course, getting me, and all of us, out of a terrible situation. Oh, I barely recognise myself. I'm living in a house share in London with my wonderful girlfriend. And I'm studying English at university. Eventually, I want to travel the world and write about it. Turns out, it's about 30 times bigger than the Roman Empire ever was. Did you know there are entire continents Rome never knew existed? And you can travel almost anywhere in an aircraft, which is rather like flying on a Pegasus, but much more comfortable. Oh, sorry, you already know all that, of course. I'm just so excited. I have noticed people from your time have no idea how fortunate they are. I hope to change that. One day. Last I heard, Malleolus kept insisting he was the last rightful ruler of the Roman Empire, and wound up being committed to a psychiatric hospital. As for Claudia, she was always so viciously unhappy. Someone said she'd blown all her money on wine, trying to drink herself back to the underworld. After the horrific way they treated Ulpius and me, I can't help feeling a sense of... what's that German word? Schadenfreude? I couldn't agree more. Ugh, someone told me she was boasting about getting her claws into some rich prince, and how she was going to be living the high life. Even in your time, life still isn't fair. Apparently he'd proposed before they'd even met, and last I heard she'd bought herself a first-class one-way ticket to Nigeria? Some people have all the luck. Really? Huh. I feel better already. Thank you. You too! If you're ever in London, let me know. We can go to bars and drink wine and listen to the stories of the 9 million people who live there. I hope so.
Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone. Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the risk, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudging. You too, don't be a stranger.
It's you.
Hello!
Greetings. You must be the legendary Oracle. I am told we have you to thank for freeing us from Hades, and for that, I am most grateful. I am reacquainting myself with Greece. It has changed so much over the last 2,000 years, I barely recognize it. Perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down in Santorini in a villa over... I hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you faced off against the fearsome god of the underworld. You too, my friend.
You're the one we've been waiting for. I wanted to say thanks for sending Galerius to save my life. I don't know how you knew. I'm just so happy to be here with you and everyone together again, even if it's just for one more night. Well, it's not like I have to work with all the silver Charon gave me, so I just do what makes me happy. Mostly that means baking for my friends and looking at memes while binging TV shows in yoga pants. What a time to be alive. Thank you. You...
I take it you're the oracle everybody's talking. We have. I never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it. I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks once again.
I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit, but thank you for coming and for saving our lives. What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it. I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber, not far from my old place. Oh, and after you sent Galerius to persuade Ulpius not to take his own life, I was inspired. I just want to spend the rest of my life helping people, like you helped him. Thank you. That means a lot. And you.
Good evening. Greetings. Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I never once imagined that I might end up in a place so much like Elysium. I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while, at least until I'm well enough to be independent again. Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I'm already up to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I've made... Men have called me mad, but the question... And you. Farewell, friend.
Some soiree, innit? Ah, hello at last. You must be the oracle of it. Listen, I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old relics Whatever you did in that temple made me a very wealthy man. Such acerbic wit. I love it. I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now. In fact, I was hoping to ask your advice, you being the oracle and future seer and all that, on which stock. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you recommend? Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't take no for an answer. Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go home and buy up as much stock as I can tonight, and I'm going to make a bloody fortune. Of course, don't let me keep you. Thanks again for the tips, my friend.
It is an honor to finally meet you, or you know. Oh, of course. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place, and for your role. For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another official. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. It is a great... I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, indeed. Thank you, Orc.
Nice. I go by Rufus now. New start, new name. For what you did. Sorry, I'm no good with the mushies. I live with Virgil in Rotterdam, not far from where he grew up. It's very modern. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with my life yet. Good to know. Anyway, it was good practice for the new world. Security cameras and smartphones everywhere. Got to stay vigilant. You too. Look us up next time you're in the Netherlands. We're grateful.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out of there. And for helping Rufus come to terms with himself. He may come off a little gruff, but once you get past that, he's a lovely fellow. I'm studying to be an architect again, and living with Rufus in our beautiful flat in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets full of educated, accepting people. You natives of the 21st century have no idea how fortunate you are. You too, as Rufus said in his own laconic way, if you're ever in the Netherlands, we'd love to show you around. It's the least we could do.
Hello there. Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. After you drove Pluto off, Proserpina came and released me, and that monster got what was coming to him. I'm living with Ulpius on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's even more wonderful than I dreamed it would be. I'm so grateful to you for making sure he's still with us. If you're ever passing through the region, I hope you'll come and visit us. You can try some of our very own wine. Thanks. You too.
It's nice to finally put a face to the name. I'm Ulpius. I understand I have you to thank for sending Galerius to save my life. The way you just showed up out of the blue and stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. We finally bought the little vineyard we always dreamed of. It'll be a little while before we know what we're doing, but every day I look at her and this extraordinary new world with all its beauty, and I think, what if I'd given up hope and missed out on all of this? So we're living each day to the fullest. And we end them all the same way, sitting together on our terrace with a glass of our wine, which the locals say is almost drinkable now, and watching the sunset over the rolling hillside. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you. I wouldn't be here without you. You too.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long, long time. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention. Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues, and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected. I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation the final wave would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath. So I whispered to Sentius in secret, telling him the prayer required to create a portal in my shrine. I knew the danger of humans being corrupted by godly power, and so I put a safeguard in place. I required the creator of the portal to sacrifice their own life, so that it could only be used selflessly to help others. What I did not anticipate is that Sentius would retain his accumulated memories from each previous day, and as a veteran soldier he had long since shed his fear of death. He quickly discovered that he could, in effect, prolong his own life indefinitely by exploiting the cycle. Of course, once I had taught him the prayer, I could not unteach him, and there was little I could do but wait for someone like you to come along and see him for what he was. We were all fortunate you came along when you did. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way. Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day. And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city? Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.